The Sukhoi Su-75 Checkmate project was introduced to the world with immense fanfare and a carefully orchestrated marketing blitz at the MAKS 2021 Air Show. It was presented not merely as a new aircraft, but as a paradigm shift in the global arms market. Developed by the renowned Sukhoi Design Bureau, a cornerstone of Russia's United Aircraft Corporation, the Checkmate was conceived with a singular, audacious goal: to create a single-engine, affordable fifth-generation stealth fighter designed explicitly to challenge the market dominance of the American F-35 Lightning II. The target audience was not Russia's own air force, but primarily foreign buyers, with a particular focus on nations like India, the United Arab Emirates, and a broad swath of developing countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America who sought advanced military capabilities without the geopolitical entanglements or prohibitive costs of Western hardware. The vision for the Checkmate was breathtakingly ambitious, promising to package the most desirable attributes of modern air combat into an accessible and cost-effective platform. Its design philosophy was centered on a stealth airframe, engineered with specific angles and materials to significantly reduce its radar cross-section, theoretically allowing it to penetrate contested airspace undetected. The most crucial design choice was its single-engine layout, a deliberate departure from Russia's traditional preference for heavy, twin-engine fighters like the Su-57. This decision was the bedrock of its entire economic proposition, promising drastically lower acquisition costs, reduced fuel consumption, and simplified long-term maintenance schedules compared to its larger, more complex counterparts. The cockpit was slated to feature a suite of advanced avionics, including a highly integrated sensor package and sophisticated artificial intelligence assistance, which would supposedly reduce the pilot's workload by managing complex combat data and automating tactical decision-making. To maintain its stealth characteristics during combat, the aircraft was designed with an internal weapons bay, capable of carrying a respectable payload of air-to-air and air-to-ground munitions without compromising its low observable profile. Furthermore, it was advertised as having supercruise capability, the highly prized ability to fly at sustained supersonic speeds without relying on fuel-guzzling afterburners, granting it a significant tactical advantage in terms of engagement speed and energy conservation. Despite this compelling and heavily marketed vision, the Su-75 Checkmate project has, for all practical purposes, completely unraveled, becoming a case study in overreach and a stark illustration of the gap between ambition and reality. The most fundamental and damning reason for its failure is the simple fact that a real prototype has never actually flown. As of today, years after its grand reveal, the Su-75 has not achieved flight. The aircraft showcased with such dramatic flair at international airshows in Moscow and Dubai were not functional flying prototypes but rather sophisticated full-scale mock-ups or, at best, non-functional demonstrators. They were marketing tools, meticulously crafted shells designed to attract investors and secure launch orders, but they lacked the engines, avionics, and structural integrity of an actual airworthy machine. This absence of a flying prototype has fatally undermined the project's credibility, as all performance claims remain purely theoretical and unverified. This lack of progress is inextricably linked to a severe and chronic lack of funding. The project was launched with the explicit understanding that its development would be heavily reliant on foreign investment, as Russia's own defense budget was already stretched thin. However, Russia's economy, already under significant strain, was crippled by successive waves of crushing international sanctions, particularly following the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This geopolitical cataclysm not only isolated Russia from global financial markets but also forced a dramatic reprioritization of its limited defense budget towards immediate wartime needs, producing, repairing, and replacing existing equipment for the ongoing conflict. The speculative, future-oriented Checkmate project, seen as a luxury export item, was starved of the massive capital investment required for the complex and expensive process of research, development, and prototype manufacturing. Consequently, despite the slick marketing videos and high-level diplomatic overtures, no confirmed foreign buyers ever materialized. While nations like India and the UAE expressed initial polite interest, none ever committed to a firm purchase contract or a co-development partnership. Potential customers grew deeply skeptical about Russia's ability to adhere to ambitious delivery timelines and, more importantly, to provide reliable long-term logistical support, spare parts, and system upgrades, especially given its deepening international isolation. Buyers were being asked to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in a paper airplane, and not a single nation was willing to take that monumental risk. The project's collapse was further exacerbated by Russia's own profound industrial constraints. The Russian aircraft industry was already operating at the limits of its capacity, strained by the slow and troubled production of the higher-priority Su-57 program. The war in Ukraine then placed an overwhelming burden on these same industrial facilities, diverting all available resources and skilled labor towards sustaining the war effort. Furthermore, sanctions and stringent export controls created critical shortages of high-tech components, particularly advanced microelectronics, sensors, and composite materials, which are the essential building blocks of any modern fifth-generation fighter. Without access to these technologies and without the industrial capacity to spare, building a cutting-edge aircraft from the ground up became an impossible task. Ultimately, the entire endeavor was plagued by a sense of technological overpromise. The performance characteristics advertised for the Checkmate, a fighter jet possessing stealth and AI capabilities comparable to the F-35 but at a fraction of the cost, were met with widespread skepticism by international defense analysts from the very beginning. Many viewed the project not as a serious development program but as an exercise in creating vaporware, a product announced to the public and press long before it is realized, if ever. The claims were perceived as a strategic bluff, a marketing ploy designed to generate international buzz and, hopefully, lure a wealthy partner into funding Russia's next-generation aerospace ambitions. As it stands today, the project is in a state of indefinite stasis. No test flights have occurred. No independently verified working prototypes have ever been shown. It is entirely unclear if the Su-75 Checkmate will ever progress beyond the mock-up stage and enter serial production. While Russian officials still occasionally mention the program in public statements, these remarks are widely seen as attempts to save face and project an image of continued technological prowess, rather than reflecting any tangible progress. The ambitious dream has faded, leaving behind only the shell of an idea. The Su-75 Checkmate has become a symbolic showpiece rather than a viable fighter jet. It represents a collision between a bold strategic concept and the harsh realities of economic limitations, industrial constraints, and geopolitical isolation. What was unveiled as Russia's checkmate move in the global fighter market has instead been revealed as a paper plane, a powerful concept that was ultimately unable to take flight, serving as a stark monument to a grand defense project that effectively stalled and failed before it even truly began.